The AST Voltson Super Trucks heads to the second two-miler of the 2014 season. However, this racetrack is as opposite of Michigan International Speedway as you can get. The Nelson Ledges Road Course is a 2-mile club circuit, a very narrow, bumpy, and flowing road course in Garrettsville, Ohio, so it should be very interesting to see how these short track teams adapt to this circuit. Or at least under race conditions, because in the practice sessions that were held here yesterday, there were several incidents between many different drivers. We're going to take a look at a few of them here. Coming out of the pit lane to start the session, Connor Coda, trying not to merge in front of Daryl Quick, isn't looking in front of him and runs into the wall. Chris Washer in the second to final corner got into Gordon Davis and turned him around. Davis would just barely kiss the tire walls. Ron Fergus was holding up Zach Churchill, who did not get on the throttle nearly as quick as Churchill was expecting. Fergus got turned head-on into the pit wall, and just moments later, further down the track, Brianna Prinzhorn exiting the pits cuts off Churchill, her teammate, and spins them both on the track. Prinzhorn smashed into the tire walls. Churchill's truck would be okay. Prinzhorn and Fergus were the only two drivers who needed to have their trucks replaced before the race, so all 22 trucks will be taking the green flag. Hopefully these teams have learned enough in the practice sessions to run a relatively clean race here today. And on the pole position would be Chase Eberhard, making his third start of the season. The Outlaw Motorsports driver has been very fast in these first two races. Both of them were top 10s, and despite having no prior road course experience, he is on pole position for today. On his outside is Rossini Sport driver David Savoldelli, who gets a fantastic start, beating the 91 into turn 1 and taking the lead right off the start. This is Savoldelli's second and final start of the season. He also raced at the Michigan International Speedway. He has plenty of experience on road courses in the National Racing Championship, the FARC Lobo Truck Tour, and the FARC Elite Series. So not really a surprise to see Savoldelli up close to the front. This team itself has lots of experience on road courses as well. Meanwhile, right behind them, Kane Canavan has had another fantastic qualifying run. He's battling with Eberhard, for the second position, and there's a truck off course. That is Zach Churchill. We mentioned that he's already kind of had a rough start to this weekend with those incidents in practice, and now he has overshot the carousel, losing every position on the track except the one that belongs to Ron Fergus. The other NRC driver in this field, Riley Durbin, is also off to a great start. He's trying to get by Kane Canavan for the third position. Running right behind them is Mary Brousseau in the 25, and in sixth place is Caden Holt. Holt started in third, which is not much of a surprise considering that he is a road racer in a series called the APRS. Although Holt has fallen back to 6th by the end of the first lap, and now Connor Coda is trying to bring him down to 7th. Brianna Prinzhorn, as we mentioned, had a crash in practice, and on lap 2 she drives off of turn 1, so both of the Churchill Incorporated cars having trouble staying on the track in these opening laps. This is rather interesting considering that Churchill and Prinzhorn are two of the only drivers in this field with prior road racing experience. Both of those races were in the NPCC Late Model Series. You might have seen Rachel Kowalczyk drive off the corner in turn 3. The 402 is going to hit tire walls and go out of the race. Kowalczyk, the first driver to drop out after a relatively clean first lap. Further up the track, Ronald Way is going to cut off Nancy Keith. Heading into the carousel, they both go off the course and hard into the tire barrier. Way must have thought that he had cleared the 18, but obviously he hadn't. They're both going to go out of the race. Riley Durbin now making a move for second place around Chase Eberhard, as David Savoldelli has slowly begun to pull away. Durbin not able to make it stick yet, but Eberhard sticks his tires in the grass off of turn 2, and the 3 truck is getting a run on the outside of turn 3. Durbin will have the upper hand as they round the corner and head down towards the carousel. The two NRC drivers are now first and second. This is Terry Ruiz Jr. in the number 8 car for Demo Motorsports, making his first start of the season. Ruiz is a modified driver from all around the Great Lakes, who races all around the Great Lakes, that is. And Demo Motorsports, I believe, attempted an Arla Elite Series race a couple years ago. They attempted the Mini Indy 500 with another driver, but were unsuccessful in qualifying. The next driver to challenge Chase Eberhard is the 25 of Mary Brousseau. As the 91 continues to lose positions, Brousseau will clear him in the second to final corner. The 25 also started at MIS earlier this year, where she finished second to Daryl Quick. And despite the drastic differences between these two tracks, she is doing just as well here today. She just moved up into third. Ron Fergus has rather surprisingly managed to stay on course for the first 2 laps of this race, but on lap 3 he's going to throw the truck off of the carousel and take himself out of the race, and if I do say so myself, predictably so. Caden Holt has now lost a spot to Terry Ruiz Jr. He gets a run on the 8 truck on the back stretch, but Ruiz cuts off the 83K. There was contact between the two, but fortunately they did not crash. Chris Washer has taken advantage of this opportunity, and he runs into the 8 truck as well, although in Ruiz's defense, Washer did stick his nose in there kind of late that time. Washer is 3rd in points coming into this race. The 3 drivers who have race wins this season, none of them qualified in the top 15, but all 3 of them are making their way forward. And speaking of the other 2 race winners, Daryl Quick and Gordon Davis, actually don't appear to be moving forward too quickly. Quick almost throws the truck off the corner in turn 3. They are both battling with Zach Churchill, who, as you saw earlier, went off the track on lap 1, and neither of them are running too well, although they are putting on a very entertaining race for position. I believe this is the 14th spot that they're all fighting for, as Davis and Churchill drives off the track in turn 4. So a lot of these drivers seem to be having problems with overshooting these corners, although fortunately there's not nearly as many crashes as some people were fearing that there would be. Connor Coda continues his march towards the front. The 68 truck hasn't gotten around Everhart. He's trying to do that right now, and in the carousel he is going to clear him on the outside, but then he drives off the corner way into the grass, keeps the truck under control, but is going to lose a few more positions, negating all the work that he made earlier in the race, and Caden Holt almost gets into him as the 68 moved down the track rather suddenly. And I don't know if he's cracking under pressure or what, but Connor Coda goes off the course again the very next lap, losing even more positions. In the meantime, the top 3 drivers have begun to break away from the rest of the field. David Savodelli still leading at the halfway point of the race, the completion of lap 10 of 20. Riley Durbin is running right behind him and not letting him build any sort of a lead whatsoever, and you might have seen him just peek to the inside in turn 1, however he thought better of it and fell back in line. Mayor Brousseau is running in 3rd right behind the 3 truck. And as they go down the backstretch, Savodelli has been getting good runs off of that carousel, but in the braking zones, Durbin has been much faster than him. Watch him close in on the 15, and he actually makes contact with the number 15 in the second to final corner. I don't think any major damage has been done to either truck though, but Savodelli has been able to get good runs off of the final corner right here, as well as the carousel, and that may very well be what's keeping him in the lead of the race. Caden Holt and Connor Coda are battling for position, heading into the carousel, similar to the lap 2 accident. Holt cuts off the 68, not realizing that he stuck his nose in there, and they both go into the tire barriers. So after a good start to the day for both of these drivers, they are both going to go out of the race. The battle for 4th is on between Chase Eberhardt, Kane Canavan, and Chris Washer. Washer has done a good job working his way up towards the front. Canavan has done a great job at staying at the front considering how underpowered that truck is. The KIC racing team has done a fantastic job with a very small budget, as Washer gets into the 91, forces him up the track, and Canavan goes off the corner as a result. You see Terry Ruiz Jr. also going off the track, but he still retains enough momentum to mount a charge on Canavan heading into the second to last corner. John White got by Canavan as well for the 6th position. And now the 8 truck goes off, comes back up into the 74, Canavan's in the grass, heading for the tires, but he manages to slow that truck down just enough to stay off the wall. Some great car control by Canavan, but unfortunately he's going to lose even more positions. Now running right behind Canavan is the 90 of Kevin Thompson, the 02 of Pamela Keller, and the 84 of Zach Churchill. All 3 of these drivers have had relatively poor showings today. Churchill, since driving off the course on lap 1, has not been able to make up much ground at all. Chase Eberhardt was bumped off the track by Chris Washer a couple of laps ago, and Washer is going to do the same thing. He gets into the 91, they both go into the grass. Fortunately, neither of them wreck, but they're going to lose 3 positions each, as John White, Terry Ruiz Jr., and Daryl Quick go on by. Quick, the points leader coming into this race, has slowly been working his way towards the front after a very poor qualifying run, and has not driven off the track at all. So despite not having much experience, he's doing what he needs to do and staying out of trouble. And now, a couple laps later, he makes a move to the inside of Terry Ruiz Jr. for position, This would be for 5th spot if he can make it work. Coming into the second to last corner, John White right in front of them, who is not pulling away despite the side-by-side racing going on behind him. Quick almost gets into the 0-6, but White gets the run off the corner, and this battle will continue on further down the track. Some great racing being put on by these drivers here today. Quick is going to take the 5th position, relegating Ruiz Jr. down to 6th. But meanwhile, at the front of the field, Savoldelli, Durbin, and Brosseau are still running nose to tail and have opened up a huge lead over the rest of the field. I suppose this isn't necessarily too surprising, as all 3 of these drivers have road racing experience. Brosseau raced at Circuit of the Americas in the FARC Regional Cup earlier this season. Durbin is not as close to Savoldelli though as he was in the mid part of the race. It's possible that the truck is going away on Durbin as the race approaches its end. And off of the carousel, Durbin runs into the grass. That's the first time he's done so all race, and Brosseau is going to take the 2nd spot from him. But once again, this race is going to belong to David Savoldelli. The number 15 Rossini Sport Truck took the lead on the first lap, never relinquished it, and after leading every lap of the day, David Savoldelli, the New York City native, is going to win at the Nelson Ledges Road Course. A fantastic race by Savoldelli and his team. Mary Brosseau again finished in 2nd, beating Durbin back to the line for 3rd. These 3 were absolutely the best trucks of the day today. John White has a fantastic run. He holds off Darrell Cook and Terry Ruiz Jr. to finish 4th. Quick, the points leader, finishes in 5th. That's another top 5 for him. And again, Ruiz Jr. 6th place on debut. Fantastic showing for the Demo Motorsports team. Chris Washer finishes in 7th place. Chase Eberhardt finishes in 8th for the 2nd time this season. He finished 8th at MIS as well. Brianna Princehorn finishes in 9th in the last race in her home state. And Hunter Blaze, the Gravity Racing Incorporated driver, had a very quiet run today, but Blaze will round out the top 10.